Hi everyone and welcome to today's morning report on Monday the 20th of April with me, Richard Berry, market analyst at Tech Markets. European trading session has got off to a very good start actually, jumping higher on the indices, FTSE up almost 1%, DAX up over 1%, and that's come on the back of this this Chinese announcement over the weekend that they've cut the reserve requirement ratio by 100 basis points. Now that is higher than the usual 50 basis point cut. And also, that's the biggest cut in the rate in the RRR since 2008. So sentiment taking a big leap on the upside on the back of that, and certainly that's helped equity markets higher. Also, the commodity currencies as well, the loonie, the Aussie, and the Kiwi all benefiting from those easing measures from China. So that's come out today. What's this done to the dollar? Not a huge amount. The euro is actually weaker early morning today, so that's sort of dragged the dollar index a little bit higher. But other than that, it's actually fairly much weaker. Sterling's slightly higher, yen slightly higher, and also, as I said, the commodity currencies as well. But are we seeing an interesting turnaround? This is the dollar index. We had this run higher through early to mid-April, then just the correction in the past few days, and is it now beginning to flatten off? That flattening is coming at some key moments for the dollar pairs, and some key levels are being tested. So I'll talk about that in a minute. But certainly looks like there's some a key battle going on in some of these forex markets. In terms of what we've got to look out for today, not a lot really on the economic calendar. Not too much at all. You've got a couple of central bankers speaking this afternoon. You've got Bank of Canada's Polloz and also the RBA's Stevens as well, both talking this afternoon. So that could have an impact, you can imagine, on the loonie and also the Aussie dollar. I think it's 2 o'clock for Polloz, and Stevens is at 5 o'clock, I do believe. So that's UK time. So that takes me on to my chart of the day, which is silver. Now silver has been consolidating. This is the hourly chart, and it basically shows a sideways consolidation in the past few days. But if you look at the daily chart, this is interesting because we've still got this top pattern. I've zoomed out slightly here so you can see this pivot level around 1670 had provided the support of the low, then the reaction high, and this provided sort of a pivot level over last sort of few months really for this chart. And we've got this top pattern. Didn't really zoom in much, did it? Anyway, got this top pattern here that actually gives us an implied target to the downside below that neckline of 1640. Gives us an implied target of these key lows around 1550. And it's interesting that this consolidation is coming around that neckline resistance now. So what we've got is I think just a consolidation before further weakness, I think, probably in this chart. It's interesting that the consolidation that we're seeing in silver is more of a bearish consolidation, I would say, than the consolidation that's taking place in gold, which sort of has a bit more of a positive look to it, I think. Although I'll sort of focus on that a little bit more in my gold chat. But I think this silver chart is still sort of showing pressure to the downside. I think it's just consolidating before further downside. You got that the resistance at 1640 from the neckline. Also 1670 is that pivot level. So a couple of overhead levels that you could still see the selling pressure resuming. And every time it gets back towards 1640, it seems to fall over. 1651 is the reaction high on Friday. Again, a negative move after that. So it looks like, as I said, it's more of a negative consolidation, I think, than a positive move. And I think ultimately it still looks like it's going to be breaking lower. In terms of the intraday, once again, I mean, it's basically range bound last few weeks, really. Nothing too significant to the downside. You could argue that you could play the RSI range, but I still think, as I said, I think that the fact that we've got that double top pattern on the daily chart, also the resistance bands at 1640 and 1670, just leads me to suggest also that we're also trading underneath the moving averages as well. There's this very slight bearish bias to this chart. So I wish you good luck in your trading on silver today, and I will speak to you again later, I think.